hello. I wish I was a little bit taller.
Again at 1:30. The race starting at 2:30. Green Trees Company is a family-owned cannabis company and dispensary located in Hendersonville and a new We say hello now to our man John McClain from Houston. HoustonTexans.com is where you can find his work. John, good morning.
I've been a fan of college baseball, but not like I started in when they started the postseason. Some of my good friends are Aggies. Once they beat the Longhorns, then I started watching all the games, and I like UT just up there, who are UT alums. So I have seen very few controversies that with the venom that's going on right now with Jim Schlossnagle leaving A&M the day after they lost to go to Texas. And obviously this deal was done ahead of time. They can lie all they want, but it was. And now they're saying it could have been a long time ago because Chris Del Conte, the athletic director at Texas, who used to be at Houston and TCU, he was at TCU when Schlossnagle was there. And I don't have a problem with guys going from one job. I can't imagine that's true, but the Longhorns have more. Only person with more money than the Longhorns is God. And you guys can find that out in the SEC, the way they use their money to try to control everything. And they usually get their way. And they're like that 800-pound gorilla that sits anywhere it wants. So Schlossnagle, the problem I had was the way he treated a reporter, Richard Zane from TexAgs.com, who had to ask the question about the Longhorns. Now, he didn't specifically say Texas. He asked him about his job at Aggieland and all the reports, and it was all over the state that the Longhorns were coming after him. And so he berated that reporter and then stormed off. And then we found out last night in a new column that was written is that he confronted the reporter afterward and told him he'd never speak to him again. And so the way he handled it, I thought, was just awful. And because I don't have a dog in a hunt, I wish Baylor could get involved in things this intense. So I've been killing Schlossnagle. But it's a great deal for the Longhorns. He's also bringing along his great pitching coach, Max Weiner, and his recruiting coordinator, who's done a terrific job, and his hitting coach. And probably he's going to have players follow him from A&M to Austin because they'll line up NIL money. One of the things Texas made a big deal out of when they brought in their football recruits, they got off the luxury bus, and they had to walk a gauntlet of Lamborghinis. So I said they probably threw in a couple of Lamborghinis, and he'd been probably driving a Bronco in College Station. So it is ugly, ugly, ugly. He was about to get another raise, $85 million for a new stadium or a refurbished Bluebell Park. But you talk about the rivalry that goes back a century, has been intensified. Everybody's fired up about when they play in football in November. I'm fired up the first time the Longhorns go to College Station to play baseball, and the greeting that Jim Schlossnagle will get, and for the way he handled it. And as I've tweeted, and you guys know this, the way he should have handled it, he should have said, guys, look, we just lost the national championship. Yep. This is about my players, our fans, Texas A&M, the great job the Volunteers did in winning the championship. There's a time and place for questions like that. I'll address them later, but this is not the time or place. I hope you understand. I'm happy to answer any baseball questions because he knew it was coming, but he just totally – and I lost a lot of respect for him. Anyway, it's been incredible. Congratulations to the Vols. You know, I think that stuff Greg McElroy said was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard about Patello. I thought everything was great. I watched the post game, and I'm really excited. I've been doing a show with John Wilkerson in Knoxville for 20 years. John and I hooked up in 90. Let's see, whenever the Tennessee Oilers played in Canton, I can't remember if it's their first year up there or what. I met John. He introduced himself. We started talking. Then later, I guess he listened to me on radio in Nashville and asked me if I wanted to do a show. And he's been a play-by-play there for like 37 years. Used to work with Mike Key, so now I'm fired up for John Wilkerson and everybody associated with that program.
Yeah, it's obviously been a great celebration here. And so that's where I wanted to start with you was this whole thing with A&M and Texas. But you mentioned it. You've been in this business a long time. You've been lied to. I've heard Floyd tell stories of how he's lied to you about certain things. That comes with the territory. Can you remember though, one of the best lies you've ever been told, and you knew it, like you knew that this was going to come out, that this was going to be a lie, by somebody in your career?
Well, let's see. When Floyd Reese, as the general manager, was going to hire Jeff Fisher full time, I knew it was coming, and I knew how much he liked him. Jeff was going to be hired after he'd taken over. They never gave him the interim title, but it's kind of what he was. And Floyd interviewed other people just to appease. I don't even think, I guess to appease the fans and media. And every time Floyd was asked about it, he denied stuff that was being, like I was writing, that Jeff was going to be named the head coach. And the biggest lie of a coach that I can remember was Nick Saban when he was at Miami, and he got tired of everybody writing and broadcasting about Alabama because he thought it was the season and because it would distract the Dolphins, and he just lied through his teeth. Now, if you win a bunch of national championships, that's going to take precedence. And Schlossnagle didn't come out and say, no, I'm not going, because he didn't give anybody a chance to ask a second question before he got up and stormed off after his long answer that ended with "right that." But he intimated